Hello, I'm Nelson Pereyra from bnetTV. Welcome to the 4G World in Chicago 2011. And with us is Steven Shalita from NetScout. How are you doing, sir, today?
Good, how are you?
Steven, 4G is such an amazing trend, and the whole entire industry is actually moving in that direction. It's not when you're already in it, and we're moving on it. So, having said that, your company, NetScout, what role do they play in this amazing ecosystem?
Well, NetScout is helping operators, mobile operators, address the challenges of managing service quality in an IP world. As carriers are moving, and still, even with the transitions going into 3G and now 4G and that accelerating, carriers are struggling with service quality, user experiences, a top of mind issue. And as they move deeper and deeper into IP-based technologies, we help them address service quality, user experience quality, and overall performance of their networks.
I mean, one thing we understand today is the reality of 3G communication is that still the voice portion of the side of the mobility is still bounded by a TDM infrastructure, where we all know that that is coming eventually to an end, and eventually there will be a migration from moving everything under one pipe, under one infrastructure. And I think 4G will meet that demand, and I think NetScout will play an amazing, incredible role in how that demand is going to be met.
It's actually very interesting because a lot of voice today still sits in a legacy environment, and operators have been struggling to manage voice quality and user experience in legacy ways. And at the same time, they've made investments on the IP side to address data services over the top, as well as premium services. And what they're going to be able to do is really leverage those capabilities to address voice as it comes into the IP world. And I think your point is valid. As we move into LTE, which was very much considered a data service for a long time, and how are we going to address voice as we move to LTE? Well, we'll just keep it in that legacy infrastructure. I think we're going to see that accelerate in the next 2 years, probably by 2013, seeing much broader deployment of voice over LTE. And the challenge will be, how do you manage service quality there in an IP world? Signaling is different, call setups are different, and the demands on the network. And as data services continue to explode, carriers are going to need to be able to manage that side by side and across generations, right? Those 3G networks aren't going to go away anytime soon. So how do you manage that across not only 3G, 4G, but data services along with voice services?
While migrating, especially voice into this infrastructure.
Voice into an IMS, voice over IP-based environment.
And talking about a little bit more about voice, what do you see in terms of obviously TDM offers some form of synchronization because voice has a delay time in terms of how it handles. It's one of the biggest things I always ask myself. Once voice moves to data in an IP infrastructure, I guess policy control and quality of service will come in play in terms of handling that demand in terms of the voice portion of the migration from TDM to data.
I think it's still going to continue to be a challenge from an operator perspective. While it's well known how to get voice to behave well in an IP environment, as thousands of enterprises have deployed voice over IP, but as you move it into a carrier environment, I think the challenges are going to be a little bit different. Ethernet still being traditionally viewed as a best effort environment. How do you engineer quality into that? And quality of service is an important aspect, right? But it's not the only aspect, because how the network affects packets as the voice is flowing over there, the network infrastructure is one piece of the issue. Voice quality at an underlying level of dealing with echo and conversation quality becomes extremely challenging. And being able to look deep into voice traffic beyond how the network is performing becomes extremely critical to optimizing voice service and voice quality and ultimately user experience. So carriers are going to need technology that can look deep into the voice and even video applications, services that they're delivering, to understand how it's performing at the application level, not just the network level.
And being here at this conference, what do you see your
good luck getting the knowledge
coming to learn and actually seeing all these different vendors here? They are playing different roles in this entire ecosystem. Does NetScout see themselves understanding what their trends are and learning how to work with them in conjunction of making a 4G experience and a 3G currently still supported infrastructure where you can actually support both the legacy and the new current trend.
Well, that's actually where NetScout shines and a strength that we have in, we're IP focused. So we haven't really helped address the core challenges from the traditional legacy or TDM environments.
Correct.
We've been enabling operators across the globe, and we have 130 mobile operators that have deployed our technology across the world, move into the IP transformation. And as they move to LTE, that's just another step of IP.
Correct.
Right? And what's unique about our capabilities is helping the carriers address the challenges of IP and assuring service quality, and irregardless of 3G or 4G,
Yep.
giving them that
Still
path
data.
forward
Yep.
to be able to go into 4G seamlessly. So they're going to have to manage both of those technologies side by side, and the investments that they've made for 3G, every mobile operator in North America is using our technology, will be able to scale and carry them into the 4G world with no incremental costs, no rip and replace from a single system. So as customers roam between those environments and they continue to build out 4G and deliver service qualities, they'll be able to effectively manage that.
One thing I learned this conference was that what you actually saying is totally 100% true, because if operators don't get company like yours to actually manage to do this, the Skype of the world is going to take over. And they need to look at the revenue and say, we need to move an IP infrastructure to offer voice quality, and other quality of services that require a company like yours be able to put them in the right direction and giving them the best solution and how to approach that market.
Right, and voice is a key aspect of all of this,
Correct.
right? Because that's the fundamentals of what mobile service is about, is delivering that voice call. But when we think about the impact on the network and the carrier's revenue, voice is a relatively flat revenue model. It has relatively modest to no impact on the network itself, but quality is easily impacted by other things. We've also got to think about what carriers are looking for in LTE-based environments, and that's incremental capacity, right? The ability to deliver new services to drive revenue per user up, and to drive competitive advantage. So when we think about where things are going, it's not just about voice, it's about new data services, it's about how the cloud comes into
You mentioned cloud computing. This is the new thing now.
Absolutely, because that's going to become part of this.
Another hug in the IP infrastructure.
Exactly, and that's where you start seeing major demands and user experience challenges. So yes, voice is a pesky challenge as you move into an IP environment, because you've got to deliver this quality like users have expected. But really the demands that carriers are going to face are driven around data services, video services. How are you going to deliver over-the-top services that don't impact your core premium services? And even with that, where do you get intelligence to understand over-the-top trends to determine and identify potential premium services that you could offer in the future to actually participate in that revenue?
Especially with the Netflix of the world now popping up all over the place. Everything from Netflix, every video distributor out there, they want to use that same infrastructure.
That's right.
To bring in, everything over IP.
And as a carrier, you're faced with transporting it essentially for free and not participating in that revenue stream.
Correct.
So we hear more and more from our customers in having to deal with managing over-the-top services, because that's part of their high-speed internet offering, but identifying trends from that to actually go and say, I can monetize this service by offering it as a premium service, deliver better quality, partner as an example with Netflix, to deliver a higher quality experience for a smart premium and drive incremental revenue. So carriers got to think more than just the voice piece, and certainly voice over LTE and how we implement that, and IMS is going to be a factor. But I think a big trend that's probably important not to overlook is how cloud is going to evolve, and carriers are going to look to become more than transport providers. They want to deliver services as part of that. So we see this move already with a number of carriers acquiring and building cloud-based infrastructure. And when you think of this in the broader context, business services and business mobility is going to scale not only from a business service network, but across the mobile infrastructure and the mobile network, so that user can connect to any application anytime from any device.
Well, Steven, I do thank you so much for spending time with us. Like I said, a total IP network will happen, and it's happening right now. And the services that run behind it are totally dependable on a company like yours, where they can direct every part of the market into having some direction and making the smart decisions and creating a great 4G and 3G experience.
I'm not
Absolutely, and that really is, I think, a great summarization of what we do in helping service providers address how do you deliver the highest quality of service, how do you manage this environment so that it's a seamless experience for the users. User experience has become one of the key issues, really one of the top key issues, not only for customer retention, but for operational efficiency and effectiveness of a carrier's network. So we're excited to be a part of it.
Very good. Well, Steven, thanks so much for spending time with us today.
Thanks very much for having us.
All right. And this is Nelson Pereyra from bnetTV at the 4G World. And with that was Steven Shalita from NetScout. Thank you for coming.